everyone. So excited to be here with everyone today. I hope everyone's very well caffeinated, does not have their phones on, so we can all focus on the little cute penguin over here. Before we kick things off, hi Sean. To appreciate the journeys that have brought all of us here together. So quick show of hands that have brought all of us here together. So quick show of hands on how many people have flown in from different parts of the world. Oh, wow, that's a lot of us. Oh, I forgot me too. Wow, that's a lot of us. Anyone up for sharing a memorable experience they had in the last 48 hours, or maybe for some people a week as well? Anyone? Whether it's a heartwarming, check-in process, or it was the onboarding, or whether it was the security check chat just smoothed in very easily for you, or even a personalized experience that you were like, oh, that's cute and sweet. Yes. Mike?
Well, I tried to return a book on Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
and instead of sending me the link, they just refunded it without having to return it.
Oh.
And I just thought that was so quick, so smooth, loved it.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing. I'll share one of mine, and it was, in Dubai, it's Eid break, and the whole world travels, like everyone's out of Dubai. I was really expecting the airport to be super crowded and super busy, but I was amazed by how seamless my experience was because they managed the crowd so nicely. And so it really killed any pre-flight stress that I had and pumped me up for here. Crazy, right? Like anything that does with making us feel or have good emotions is so memorable, or even vice versa, really. I'm sure we have a list of complaints when experiences don't go according to us. So I hope you all have a good experience here today, and I would love to introduce myself. So that's me, with my Burj Khalifa. I'm based out of Dubai as a young 20-year-old girl. I'm figuring life out, whether it's my career, whether it's my personal relationship. Adulthood is hard. I've been honored and recognized as a Sitecore strategy MVP for the first time this year, recognized as the top 10 CXM stars across the world for 2023 and 2024. It's a lot for me personally, and also my... Thank you. And also first-time author, co-author of CX5, Amazon's best-selling book. So a lot has happened this year. And this is my second time at SUGCON. So the last time when I was here, it was for 15 minutes. I thought it's going to breeze and fly by. And this time I got 45 minutes. I'm like, how am I going to cover 45 minutes? That was my first thought. But then my colleagues told me, you talk a lot. You'll get through it very quickly. So my name is Vaishali Dialani, and I work as a senior customer experience strategist for Conabos, your digital transformation partner. And so that's my QR code. Hit me up on LinkedIn and let's connect. But why am I really here? Anybody? The topic's interesting, I know, but still, anybody here? Why am I really here? Anna? Anna? You're here for the second time of my talk, so I'm very excited to have you. Awesome. Customer experience, right? So I'm actually here, and I think I love to believe that I'm here, is to bridge that gap between customer experience and product by rooting for strategy in its right direction. So what am I here to chat about today is introduction to CX, customer experience, some of the key principles of CX, and how does that kind of tie into personalization, share some tips and tricks that work for us as a business on things that work really well in designing those personalized experience, and then wrap up with a few round of Q&As. Anyone here who knows what is customer experience? There are many, many, many definitions, so no one's right or wrong. Shruti? Oh, sorry, Priyanka? You're in customer success. Well, you're bang on right. But more than that, there's something else. It is the end-to-end perception of a brand. All of us sitting in this room here, I'm offering the same service, but the way it can be perceived is based on will define the experience you all have when you leave this room today. So it's the perception, and you're again right, it's the key touch points at every journey. In every journey, whether it is marketing, customer service, sales, all of it. CX sums it up very, very beautifully and in a very holistic way. What are some of the principles of customer experience? First and foremost is a perception. It's how we choose to see it. How we choose to see Sitecore, how we choose to see SUGCON, how we choose to see each other. It almost lays as a foundation of how a brand is perceived based on someone's view of looking at things. And that really defines all of you sitting in this room. When you walk away, you'll walk away with different things that will resonate most to this current life situation that you all are going through. So it's very different. Second, our favorite, personalization, which is tailoring experiences to individual preferences, which goes really beyond saying, oh, hi, Megan, or just addressing a name, to actually delivering the right relevant content at the right time, at the right place, when they actually really need it. That's when they'll really value you and say, oh my God, how did they know I wanted this at this moment of time? By leveraging data and technology, we have all of it in place. That brings us to integration, where Sitecore really shines, right? In this digitally connected world, it's on our phones, on our laptops, tablets, we have access to internet and content all the time. Even when we're physically present here, or mentally somewhere else, on our phone somewhere else, and the content consumption that we all have is insane. Yeah, you agree, Rick. But you know what's crazy is, despite all of this, brands are constantly competing for attention of customers. It's how can I get your attention right now? What can I do right now that one notification or click will change the way you think, or will make you open that notification or dismiss that notification? A lot goes into all of this, and that's conscious customer experience design that we want to dive into a bit more today. Obviously, Sitecore's robust capabilities allow us to do all of that. But do we really maximize and value it? That's a separate question to answer, but we'll definitely dive into data-driven decisions. By having data-driven decisions and understanding predictive analysis, understanding how our customers think, by understanding the dismiss rates or the open rate or the exit rate and all these different KPIs that every company has for different projects, we are learning to define our customers' expectations, behavior by those numeric values. But what we miss on is emotions, and that I'll dive into in a bit. But our hero product, our star here today, is personalization. The reason why we want to talk about personalization today is because I hope that you all, when you walk away from here, are literally thinking of one thing that really helps you walk away with, that's unique to you. I'm going to talk about a few things, obviously, but each one will have a different takeaway, and I hope that's a personalized experience for each one of you in the room today. Did you know that 91%, according to Accenture, 91% of customers are more likely to shop with brands that recognize, remember, and offer relevant products and services? Crazy. I'll let that sink in for a minute. We all know these words, don't we? But they all have a deeper meaning to things. It's how we perceive of it and what we can do with it, with the power we have. You know, I was playing around with this mic right now, and I'm like, Rick, this feels really like powerful. I'm like, do I really need it? Can I just talk? And he's like, with great power comes great responsibility. And here, everyone sitting in this room has the power to help our customers make the right conscious decision, offer the right customer experiences with Sitecore, because it has everything. But do we really, really do it? I'll let you all answer for yourselves. Whether it's the ability to update content seamlessly, to creating personalization rules on any platform, whether it's XP, XM Cloud, whichever you're using, to setting goals for different kinds of personalization initiatives. We have everything. And more than that, we can even define the success for it. And more than that, we can even define the success for it. Whether it's the outcome of analytics, whether it is understanding of the goals, the effectiveness, understanding what worked, what didn't work, the different kind of A/B tests. What do we not have? You know what we don't have? I'll tell in a second. We have these products, right? The products that we all keep talking about: XM Cloud, Personalize, CDP. CDP allows us to store this information, etc., etc. It offers everything, but we don't maximize it. What we don't have is the strategy, the right strategy behind it. Unfortunately, the word strategy is very fluffy in this industry. It always talks about, oh yeah, you know, it's just in our Excel sheets or is hanging in there somewhere. And when you don't know how to kind of connect the dots between Excel sheet to Sitecore or a design to Sitecore. So that's what I'm here to dive into a little bit more today. Answer this for yourself. You guys don't have to answer this to me. But this is what I think and we think is, first and foremost, for someone who's never used personalization, you're losing money as a business. Let's be honest. There are different competitors doing different things all the time. For someone who has personalization capabilities but is not leveraging it to its maximum value, you're still losing money as a business. But more than losing money as a business, what value are you adding in your role? I think it's more about the personal satisfaction we get of the impact we make as marketers or CX strategists or experienced designers. But if you're here today in the crowd, which is amazing, you want to learn about personalization and want to learn how to get through it, but not sure, which is why you're in the perfect room today. Success with Sitecore personalization. What's interesting here is you've already heard of so many success stories all over Sitecore, whether it's L'Oreal, United Airlines, Tulle. We know that it all works. But do they really spin the beans on what works? What really works? How do they internalize success? What is success? What is their workflow of processes they might be choosing to do that works for them? Because we all have those products, right? Why are we not in the success story? Well, here's what I think has worked for them to create those personalization experiences and become successful. First and foremost is purpose-led personalization. It's the intent to talk about it. It's the intent to understand what kind of strategy are you really creating. It's a strategic approach to things. Second, it is about aligning those personalization efforts with everything we choose to do on a daily basis. It's not like, oh, come on, we made a strategy and everyone has to work towards it. Who's keeping accountability? What kind of ownership is really there into getting those smaller tasks completed at every touch point for every customer? Which dives me beautifully into our second piece, which is cross-functional collaboration. Whether it is customer success team or product marketing or sales, how are they all working together? What about customer service? How do you know what operations has decided to how things are going to work out, and when the customer actually calls you, you know what service they were offered or what promotion did they get and what are they actually complaining for? You need to have those cross-functional collaboration at every single touch point. With Sitecore, we have that skill. We have the ability to have a centralized data storage place that allows us to connect all the dots. But do we really connect? By coordinating those efforts together, we have the ability to make a difference. And it's about us choosing to make that difference and take accountability for whatever we choose to do. Third is data-driven decisions, which I've already walked through a little bit. But one thing that I really like about this is it's not hypothesis-based, right? It's facts and figures that are really reflecting on your customer behavior. So that's super important. But mostly what happens is when businesses choose to drive data-driven decisions, etc., it's a one-time project. It happens once, and then you don't continue that feedback loop. But what we mostly forget is that it's a continuous learning for all of us here sitting in the room. Today what I'm talking might not be relevant. It might be way more advanced in the next couple of months. So why don't we action it now than having like a 6-month plan or or like a 12-month plan, right? Continuous learning is extremely, extremely important. When you learn about your customers, do you know if there's a feedback loop of circling back those analytics into your next personalization efforts? How many of you actually do that? I'm very curious. Okay. One person in the room. One person in the room, guys. That's all of us level up next time. We do too, but yeah. With that, I would love to deep dive into a simple and effortless techniques that will help you maximize your customers' personalized experiences with all of these strategies as well. We all know about the library, right? So your customer's perception, what we're going to do is actually look at different elements of Sitecore capabilities and then talk about how do they connect to the strategy level of things, which will help us understand where and how should we bridge gaps. So obviously we all know about the library that allows people to create layouts, visual representation of how the customer should receive the campaign, how should it look. You know, we did the spin the wheel right now, and it was so much fun because he exactly knew what we had to do. Peter exactly knew what we had to do. So the layout was ready. This is only one thing he did for 40 minutes, but that was one person doing the job. Unfortunately, that's not how organizations run, right? We have so many people doing so many things and running so many personalized campaigns all the time that we lose touch points, and that becomes super chaotic, and we're like, oh, personalization does not work. Or let's just make it the most easiest personalization and end the day. What I think will really help for everybody is experience design. How many of you have heard of experience design in the room here today? Okay, what is experience design, Jacqueline? Love that. Woohoo! That's absolutely bang on right. But Jacqueline, how much does that kind of pass on in terms of knowledge transfer, right? When you're working across different departments, you start losing those essence, which is why documentation is extremely important. When Jacqueline works with her teams, using a Figma file or a Miro board will help you just understand the low fidelity wireframes you can design, or as simple as just draw it on paper and pen or whiteboard to make everyone across diverse teams involved in this whole process. So next time if customer service does something, they exactly know which banner the customer is referring through or which call to action didn't work for them. How does this all help? This helps in creating better communication, more effective ways of improving your customers' experiences and making it more personalized. You know, Sean started at the start of this session, really spoke about how Amazon refunded him money without returning the book, which is damn cool. But that's because Amazon knew that he's a regular customer, I hope at least. So that's super important. The next one we have is audiences. Audience targeting on Sitecore is super easy. We all know how it works, etc., etc. The pages they visited, how they behaved, the interactions they had. But you know what we miss out on is informing other people about it. So what I'm trying to talk about here is persona planning. What happens with persona planning, and what is who is a persona, or what is a persona here? A persona is almost creating a frictional character of the person you're going to design that experience for. What that allows you to do is understand Matthew McQueenie is staying in the US, loves football, is a coach, has XYZ requirements, and then knows how to create personalized campaigns for him. Send him coach-related stuff or football emoji, and then you know he's sold because he's definitely going to click on it because that's his interest. Selecting and identifying the right demographic, understanding how to map out their needs, pain points, challenges with your product or your service helps you stay hooked on and on top of the mind of the customer. With persona planning, what's the difference between this? I don't know if this clicker thing works. Anyway, so what's the difference between both of them? Why am I requesting everybody to do a persona planning and then work on the audience targeting? Anyone here? Anisha? So that you'll know who you're targeting. But you'll also communicate to who you're targeting. And thirdly, most of the times what happens is things get overwhelming for all of us, right? Because you don't have it documented. You're not able to replicate the same pieces without using your mental brain into Sitecore. And then you're like, oh my God, this is so much. I don't know how to do and navigate my way. And then you just create the audience and forget about it. But then when you're doing the next set, you're like, oh, what did I do in the previous set? But because you don't have it like reflected on a side page, it's not easy for you to replicate it. So this really helps and has really worked for all of us. Next one is content. They all say content is king, but I would like to tweak that around and say relevant content is king. If you're just sending content messages 10 times in a day to somebody without being relevant, they're going to really dismiss you or delete your app or like never visit your site again, in all honesty. So what I'm wanting to request everybody here is having the right tone of voice. You know, today when it was Roger and he mentioned during his AI demo, he spoke about tone of voice. I was like, yes. I'm so excited to hear about the tone of voice. We all focus so much on brand tone of voice that we forget customer's tone of voice. Some people call it soccer, some people call it football. But when you start speaking your customer's tone of voice, understanding which words are they speaking, and then creating content accordingly allows you to design those experiences better for them. In all honesty, whether it's decisioning in some places or whether it's called a recipe, you should choose how your customers will be thinking about it. How do they know what that particular feature is? By using the right tone of voice, whether it is excitement, whether it is chirpy, whether it is whatever you choose as a brand alignment, having the right tone of voice and your customer's tone of voice will make them open that particular notification or make them actually end up that email, for example, will really resonate with them. Oh, I forgot. It was decisioning or recipe. It's always, as a marketer, we are consciously choosing on the path that we want to create for our customers to navigate them in the right direction. We're doing it subconsciously and hoping that they don't understand what we are trying to do, right? So you make it so seamless for them that this is your only way and just take this touch point and walk to the next touch point, but don't open any other link or don't do anything else in between. But what's more important than decisioning, I feel personally, is journey mapping. Journey mapping is a great tool. We've done it over and over again internally as well at Cornerboss, where we speak about how important it is to design those journeys at every touch point. Today, you know, Peter, when he did the whole decisioning and the recipe, it was so interesting to see how OpenAI fit into it and how all the different puzzles of the piece fit into everything very accurately and beautifully and seamlessly, right? But he's the only person who knows about it. Tomorrow, he's not going to be there on ground answering a customer's call and knowing exactly what to tell them. So you need to communicate that. That becomes our responsibility to communicate that to the next person. Without having it documented, you cannot communicate. You can't expect the customer service team to know what was shown to that particular person. And then your customer is not going to have a great experience no matter how much you use Sitecore or what kind of journeys you design. Because if they don't remember what you had designed for them, then you're not really doing a great job. So some of the key takeaways I think has worked very, very well for us, and I hope that you all take away. There are, I think, 2 or 3, but we'll see. The first and the foremost is a cohesive experience strategy. Whatever you choose to do, every cohesive strategy should be unique to your personalization initiatives, which will actually allow you to level up your personalization game. With omni-channel experiences and having so many ways to reach out to our customers on daily basis. Today, you know, whether I like something on Instagram, WhatsApp starts sending me those messages, etc., all of that. There's so much shared data around that even our phones are listening to everything today. And I hope you guys don't get the next SUGCON or Sitecore messages. That's what AI is also doing. But having this cohesive experience strategy allows you to think in the direction of the customer and personalize their experiences. And secondly, goal-driven results. Having goal-driven results allows you to measure and define success. Each personalization experience can be very different to the other. Don't expect that there are set KPIs, only those set KPIs are going to work. Try and refine them and choose to evolve and iterate as and when time goes. That will help you design those journeys better and have accurate ways of measuring your own success or initiatives. And circling back to my favorite framework, it's make sure your personalization strategies include emotions. While you have all the analytics, till you don't really explore inside out, which is our mantra, we feel whatever you help the customer feel internally is reflected externally, whether it is in sales, in retention, in loyalty, in influencing their decision. Today, I hope you all feel happy when you walk out and then you say, oh, this was a great session. So make sure you know how to make them feel internally. Basis, it's called Junto's Wheel of Emotions. And Junto's Wheel of Emotions actually has like this massive wheel with, I think, about 100 emotions. And you can pick and choose which emotions will work for your customer. How do you want to really make them feel? And then start aligning your brand and strategy towards that. Oh, this buzzword, personalization. We hear it all the time. But you know what we forget about? The word personal. It's so simple, right? We forget the basic and the essence of what that word really holds. And to what extent do we want to create those experiences and initiatives for the customers? And as I'm just about to leave, I would love to share 3 of my favorite things, which I hope helps you personalize and get to know me a little bit more. First is I love jalebis. For those who know what jalebis are, they're called crispy, they're like they're Indian sweets, but they're super sugary, so I wouldn't recommend them if you're not a sweet person. I was telling this to Rick, I love secretly humming. I just keep humming on Bollywood songs most of the time, especially if anyone leaves me alone for a little bit. I'm like, I keep doing that, and I love what I do. I genuinely love what I do because I feel I have the power and the environment to create value, to create an impact, to be here today with everybody. I am so excited. And I'm really looking forward to the rest of the event, obviously. A huge shout out to our sponsors and to all of you for being an incredible audience. I really appreciate it.